Here we're ready to test drive our 2016 INFINITI QX60. Now this uses a proximity key, so your key stays in your pocket. Now of course if you were to put the key in the car, when you got out of the car, if you're going to try and lock it, obviously you don't have a way to do so, so it's kind of hard to leave the key in the car. But there with the proximity key, which has become real popular, we just keep it in our pocket, press the brake, and press the start button, away we go. All right. Now that sound you just heard is the reason why we have the vehicle in our possession. The blower motor, its squirrel cage fan, the supporting bearing is worn out, so we've purchased a new blower motor assembly online, which we save a considerable amount of money and get a nice quality part. The only problem is we have to wait a few business days to receive it, so be about probably 3 or 4 days before we receive the blower motor, slip it in, and we'll be ready to go. Very nice display, and of course we have a very nice multifunction display. We'll go ahead and put the transmission in drive. This is a continuously variable transmission, so we're not going to feel a shift. I do have a manual feature where I can kind of hold it into a low range or kind of move up into a higher range manually. I have a couple of different modes here. I got a snow, an economy, and a sport mode that kind of defines the RPM range of the engine. As we're accelerating, obviously in the economy or snow mode, they want to be less aggressive there on acceleration and allowing the engine to rev up, where in the economy mode will be much more fuel efficient. Of course, obviously right now I'm in the manual mode, so I have to step up through the ranges here. Now again, remember, I don't have clutch packs holding different members of the planetary gear train. This is a continuously variable transmission, so I have the 2 sheave pulleys and the push belt. So I'm just kind of defining where I am pushing the sheaves together and bringing them apart to change the ratio there from the input to the output. And there our push belt is supplying the connecting drive torque. Now this car is actually modestly priced as luxury cars go. It just so happens we have the window sticker, and this car sold for $51,000. And if we compare that with some of the more expensive, like the Land Rover, which would have been closer to about $75,000, $85,000 in this model year, even more, depending on how it was equipped, this car is a pretty modest car. Drives very smoothly, very responsive. The electric power steering has a little bit of a strange feel. One thing it does is has extremely artificial strong feel for center. In other words, if I go ahead and turn the wheel to change lanes, it feels like it wants to snap back, and of course perfectly stays there in the center. Now obviously steering geometry can do that, but that's not what I'm feeling here. It's definitely part of the electric power steering. And this is a hydraulic electric power steering. We don't have an electric motor on the steering rack. We have a hydraulic pump and reservoir up here on the fender well on the passenger side. And we have, of course, the hydraulic reservoir for the electric power steering fluid. Now as I pull us over into the manual mode, here it's giving us 7 ranges going up. So here supposedly I'm in the highest range, and we can go ahead and kind of pull it down. There we see the tach stepping up as I do so. So it's kind of simulating a conventional planetary gear automatic transmission, but no, this is a continuously variable transmission. Now, as far as the 3.5 liter V6 is concerned, it's certainly adequate, but it's not a super performance car.